So this is our mission statement. Okay, and it's a bit far out, and it will take me some time to explain how we're going to get there. But this is what we want to do. All right, our mission is to accelerate innovation throughout the world by building a global value exchange platform in an open, decentralized, and transparent way. And I'll try to touch on this on these aspects later and how we're going to do this. So how did Mastercoin begin? In January 2012, J.R. Willett, Mastercoin founder, published a white paper on the Bitcoin talk forums. Okay? The white paper was titled the second Bitcoin white paper, and it described a way to build a system on top of Bitcoin, on top of the Bitcoin blockchain, that allows the trade of various asset types. Okay. The paper was innovative, new, had a lot of interesting concepts, but wasn't yet still technically refined. Okay, so it took Willett almost a year and a half to bring it to the next level. He spoke about this white paper at the Bitcoin San Jose conference in May 2013. And then 2 months later, in July 31, he released the version 1.0 of the white paper. All right, that's the general release of Mastercoin, basically. During last August, there was a Kickstarter-like event or function where people could contribute money or send money to a special Bitcoin address called the Exodus address. And whoever sent Bitcoins to this address effectively generated Mastercoins and got some he got some Mastercoins in return for sending these Bitcoins. Now the Bitcoins were stored in a wallet that was owned by or is owned by Willett, and the Bitcoins, the 4,700 Bitcoins that were collected, are used to develop the protocol. Right, and that's the various types of development that are happening. So Willett managed to raise quite a nice sum, $600,000, and started working on the protocol. First he did an initial contest just to create a client, a software application that can send and receive Mastercoins, right? Because at that point in August, there was no client available. It was just an idea, just a white paper. So during September, a few clients were being developed by several people in a completely open source way. Whoever wanted to, just went ahead, developed some software, wrote some code, and then Willett divided a bounty amount, an award of a set amount of Bitcoins between everyone who participated. In October, we went to phase 2. And that's building a distributed exchange. And I'll get to what that means soon. So there is currently a 300 Bitcoin bounty. And that's, I won't try to do the math now when I speak, but that's quite a lot of money in US dollar terms. And that's a contest that's still going on. And we expect it to be over in about 2 months. And then we'll have live distributed exchange, which I'll show what it is pretty soon. So that was October. Now, November, lots of stuff happened. The project has accelerated quite a lot. I took the position of executive director just a few weeks ago, and me and a lot of other people are getting involved with Mastercoin, and each of us are contributing whatever ideas or code or design or whatever we can to help promote this. So I'll touch on some of the things that Mastercoin is and Mastercoin offers, but I can't cover everything in this section. Okay, so what is Mastercoin? It's a new layer on top of Bitcoin that sort of uses Bitcoin as a backend. And for you who know software, you know what backend means. If you don't know what software development, you don't necessarily know what it means. But it's a service that Mastercoin uses in order to do what it does. Okay, and it is not. No, soon. The features that we're working on developing in Mastercoin is we have some security features to make it easier and more secure to use than Bitcoin. We have exchange features, like the distributed exchange, which I'll touch soon, and issuing new stocks or IPOs or tokens or different types of assets. And it's evolving really quick, really fast, and it's really hard to predict where we're going to be in a few months, let alone a year. So this is just a preliminary. This is just a description of where we are right now. Mastercoin isn't just another alt currency. Okay, there are a lot of alt currencies out there. Each of them is trying to do something a bit different than Bitcoin. And you may have heard the name Litecoin, Peercoin. There are a few others. So Mastercoin isn't an alt currency, and it's not a fork of Bitcoin. That we didn't just take Bitcoin code and duplicate it on the side, but rather we're building on top of Bitcoin. There is, by the way, another alt currency that also unfortunately has the name Mastercoin. We had the name first. We published this paper in January 2012. They came out a year later, maybe. So don't get confused between the two. Mastercoin isn't a particular feature or feature set. When Willett published his white paper and I gave a talk here in August about what Mastercoin is, the talk looked a lot different than what I'm showing you right now. Mastercoin is evolving. It's not just the features I'm going to talk about now. It's a new layer where we can add and implement a lot of new features as ideas come up. It's not a specific implementation. Okay, right now, Mastercoin works on top of the Bitcoin blockchain because that's the easiest thing for us to do, to get started, to get coding immediately, and we don't need to invent a new blockchain or to manage a new blockchain. We can use the same Bitcoin blockchain, the same Bitcoin servers that are running and securing the network. We use them for our purposes. But if we need to in the future, we can always migrate to a different technology. And Mastercoin is, of course, not a service provider. We're not a company. We're not owning the protocol. We're not providing any services here. We're just promoting and encouraging other people to write code. And the code is always available, open source, and anyone can use this code to do what they want, but it's not going through us. And also for legal purposes, it's important to understand we're not money transmitters, money facilitators. We're not doing anything here. Okay, so I will explain what are the concrete features first soon. But just so you know, if you wanted to use Mastercoin today, it's still a bit raw. Okay, it's still a bit hard to use because, as I said, just a few months ago there was just a white paper. People are working on the various clients and implementations, but it will take some time for this to get to a production level. We have a few clients already that exist today, but I think there's not a Windows client right now. There's only a client for Mac OS and Ubuntu, and I personally haven't even tried. I haven't had the time to even try one of these clients. So I am using Mastercoin. I did some Mastercoin sets. I did it with the Python script that is available here, but it's only for coders at this point. The situation will improve within a few months. And the second point here that I have is that in Mastercoin, you will have one wallet that can hold Bitcoin, Mastercoin, US dollars, gold, Google stocks, whatever you want. One coin, one address, one wallet. Okay, so let me explain what I mean when I say a distributed exchange. Here we have Alice and Bob. Okay, Alice has 50 Mastercoins. Maybe she invested in the original Kickstarter. Maybe she got them another way. It doesn't really matter. Right now she has 50 Mastercoins, and Bob has 100 Bitcoins. Now Alice decides she wants to sell some Mastercoins. And she decides on the price of one Mastercoin equals 0.5 Bitcoin. It's a bit higher than the current price, but that's what she wants to sell at. So she takes 30 out of her 50 Mastercoins, and she sends them out to the protocol. Okay, she doesn't send them to a specific party or service provider, but rather she locks in some of her funds in a way that she can't touch them right now, but nobody else can touch them either. But they're basically open for anyone to come and bid or match her bid. Okay, this is basically a bid that is locked. Everybody can see that Alex is offering 30 Mastercoins for the price of half a Bitcoin each. Now Bob sees this offer on the decentralized exchange. He decides to buy some Mastercoins, and he likes Alice's price. So he sends 10 Bitcoins to Alice's address. Now, the minute he sends these Bitcoins to Alice's address, the minute this is verified by the blockchain, then the transaction happens. It is complete. Okay? What just happened is we had two parties exchange two different goods with each other, or two different assets, without there needs to be any trust, not in each other, not in a central party, nothing. So it's completely trustless distributed exchange. As you see, Alice still has 10 Mastercoins that she wants to sell, right? Because she wanted to sell 30 Mastercoins, and the deal was just for 20 Mastercoins. She can now, if she wants, she can cancel the remainder of the deal, right? Because she did one part of the exchange. Now she can undo the rest. Now she can't undo the transaction that already happened. So the Mastercoins, 20 Mastercoins that Bob bought, are already in Bob's wallet. I'm just going to the user currencies feature right now. Okay, so we have this tree of assets. We have Bitcoin on the bottom. We have Mastercoin that is a layer on top of Bitcoin. And we have all these different assets from currencies, dollar, euro, pounds, gold, metals, Google stocks, or whatever else you might think of that we are implementing. And I'll show you soon how we're doing that. This is an example of how fast the protocol is changing, because in August, when I gave this talk, I didn't have the NASDAQ icon here. I just had the currencies and the gold. But we didn't even talk about any stocks. Okay, so back in August, in version 1.0 of the protocol, there was some concept of backed currencies that use an escrow fund to secure the transaction and the value of these currencies. I want to get into that because we have tabled this concept for the moment, and we have found what is a better solution to implement the same thing. And this is a contract for differences, and I'll explain what it is. Contracts for differences are a known financial concept that allow any two parties in the world to do a contract between them and thus achieve a certain position on whatever asset they choose. For those of you who don't have a financial background, I'll just give a brief introduction, a brief explanation of what it means to be long and short on an asset. If I am long on Bitcoin, like I'm long on 100 Bitcoins, this is equivalent to me owning 100 Bitcoins. I can own them physically, or someone can owe me this 100 Bitcoins, but my position has this plus 100 Bitcoins. And the other way around is if I want to be short on an asset, then this actually means I have negative amounts of that asset. Right? I can owe someone 100 Bitcoins, so I am short 100 Bitcoins. Okay, so how do contracts for differences work? We have two parties. We have Alice and Bob. Each of them own a certain amount of Mastercoins. And each of them want to be long or short. Right? Alice wants to buy some gold, and Bob wants to sell some gold. He wants to be short. All right, so now we have any Forex company or any provider of information. I picked eToro here for just an example. They can publish a feed of data, a feed of information that says how much they value gold in Mastercoin, so in whatever currency pair they want. They pick any pair of currencies or assets, and they can say how much this is worth in terms of that. So in this case, one gold bar, for example, is worth 5 Mastercoins, according to eToro. So Alex and Bob, they know eToro, they know it's a reputable company, and they trust it. Okay, they trust its data feed, and they trust it not to make any mistakes on the data that it publishes. They send the money not to eToro, okay? And eToro, they don't need to trust eToro to hold their funds, just to provide the information, but they send their money into the blockchain, okay? And the money is locked in a contract between them. Once the contract starts, none of them, neither Alex nor Bob, can change and withdraw funds arbitrarily. All right. Now, instead of we have this pool, this joint pool of 200 Mastercoins. Both of them contributed some money. This money is managed together as a pool. The transaction and the pool of money is secured by the blockchain, and this represents the price of gold. Right. The contract looks at what eToro publishes, and I think I missed an animation here, but now eToro decided that one gold is worth 10 Mastercoin instead of 5 Mastercoin. Okay, the price of gold in the real world increased. So, as we remember, Alice was long on gold, and Bob was short on gold. So when gold increases, when the value of gold increases, then Alice has to earn some money and Bob has to lose some money. Okay, because this is the contract that they took. So when, let's say, 1 month has passed since they started the contract, and when they signed the contract, both of them chose 1 month as the period of the contract. So after 1 month passes, they look up, or everybody, the blockchain looks up the latest price of gold, that as published by eToro, and then the blockchain decides who gets what amount of this 200, of this pool of 200 Mastercoins. Now, Alice, she was long on gold, right? She betted. She thought that gold is going to increase. So because she was right and gold did increase, she gets a larger stake in the joint pool. And Bob loses some of his money, right? Because he was short on gold. All right, so this is done, and each of them get their money back. And then the result was equivalent to them buying an actual physical bar of gold in the real world. Okay? The financial result was the same. And note that they didn't have to trust anyone in order to tie their assets, to take a position on gold. All right, so now, just a second. Now we have this contract between two parties. Now the question is, how can we make sure that there is always a counterparty, right? If I want to be long on gold, if I want to buy gold, how do I know that I always find someone to take the other position, to be short, right? So it turns out that there is a market for this kind of bids and asks. People can post bids and asks for various prices. They can hedge their position via external markets. What do I mean? Let's say I have an account at a Forex company, right? I can go to that brokerage account, that Forex account. I can enter a long position on that market, on that account, on that exchange. Simultaneously, I can enter into the opposite position on the Mastercoin protocol, and thus, total, my position hasn't changed, right? If I buy gold with this hand and I sell gold with this hand, I'm not incurring any additional risk here. Now, why would I even do that? I don't have to use the same price. I can increase the price of gold in which I sell on the Mastercoin blockchain. So I can make a profit margin here. If I find someone willing to take my position on Mastercoin, then as soon as that order fills, I copy that order or the opposite of that order to the real world, neutralize my position, but I get some commission for my efforts. And so it's basically risk-free money that I can make, and everybody can make, by playing in this market. So a lot of people in the world has a lot of incentive to do this kind of job. People who are already forex traders, they already have accounts on the exchanges, and they can eliminate this arbitrage. They can make money and then thus decrease the cost for the end user. So the normal user who just doesn't have an account at any brokerage firm, he just wants to buy or sell gold, he always finds a counterparty, probably at a cheaper price, because we have one unified stock exchange or a forex exchange that everybody can access. And we have competition between the different people offering the bids and asks on this exchange. All right, another chance for questions. Can you get the microphone there?
I'm wondering about these transactions. What about the regulation? Are those legal? Are they regulated?
Yeah, so that's an excellent question. The thing is, it's important to separate the person doing the transaction from the Mastercoin blockchain or service or foundation. As I said before, the Mastercoin Foundation and everybody working on it is just writing software, right, or promoting it in some way, but we're not providing a service. So it's all open source software, anybody can use it, and we don't have any regulatory issues with that personally. Now, as an individual using this, you still need to understand what is the regulation in your country, right? If you live in Israel, and then you may want to be anonymous, you may choose not to be anonymous, that's up to you to decide. We're not getting into that right now. All right, so we discussed the distributed exchange. We showed how we can implement various assets on top of this exchange. Now I want to tell you about the smart property feature of Mastercoin. It's modeled after a similar feature in Bitcoin. Right? Bitcoin also has smart property. The analogy may not be perfect at times, but this is the term we're using right now. We have Bob again. You're all familiar with Bob now. You're good friends. Bob wants to build a new startup, right? He has an idea for this uber sophisticated betting platform. And he has the best idea in the world. He just needs money to implement it, right? He wants to hire coders and lawyers and a PR firm. He has expenses. So, but Bob doesn't have any money, right? So what does Bob do? He sells shares of his idea in Bitcoin, right? This is something that's already going on. And he can, I won't get into the technical, he can either sell shares of ownership in his company, or he can sell participation in future profits. There are lots of different things that Bob can do here. But just for example, for this example, let's stick with shares. So Bob goes to a centralized Bitcoin stock exchange, right? And this is not an exchange like Mt. Gox or Bitstamp. These exchanges, Mt. Gox and Bitstamp and most of the Bitcoin exchanges, are places where you can trade various types of fiat money, right? US dollars or shekels or yen with Bitcoin. And you can even trade Bitcoin with other cryptocurrencies. You can trade Bitcoin with Litecoin and other things. But the type of exchange I'm talking about here is a proper stock exchange, right? Bob can come to this exchange, create out of thin air stocks in his company, right? His company is Satoshi Dice, so he just created 4 Satoshi Dice tokens. Now Alice sees Bob's idea, right? Bob wrote a brilliant business plan, and then Alice believes that Bob's idea is a winner, right? She wants to send him some money so he can build his idea. So what Alice does is she sends this Bitcoin to the decentralized stock exchange. She buys one of the Satoshi Dice stocks, and now the exchange lists on her account that she owns a stock, right? And this exchange is just a normal computer, a normal server out there on the internet. It's operated by someone, whether it's a person or an entity or company. Bob can now withdraw the Bitcoins that Alice deposited, and he can use this money to start his service. So this is all good and well, but the reality isn't so pretty, right? There were questions before about regulation. This is even maybe more risky on a regulatory standpoint. There have been three more actually stock exchanges in the Bitcoin ecosystem, some of them dating back almost 2 years ago, and then some of them newer. And a lot of them have started closing down, first shutting down to US customers, then shutting down completely. Because this kind of business, running this kind of business, is risky, and it's problematic, and it's regulated. There are still, I think, a few exchanges that are operating, but nothing that has been sanctioned by any country or jurisdiction. So Bob has no real secure way of doing this. So what we're doing in Mastercoin, our decentralized version of this, is just let any Mastercoin user, and you don't even have to own Mastercoins to use this feature. You can just download the client. But anyone who uses the Mastercoin client can just create tokens that represent ownership or shares or profit sharing in his company. And he'll have, I won't get into how it's done technically, but he'll have a very easy button on his desktop client that says create shares, right? And then he will describe what the shares are about and who is behind these shares, and then what is basically the contract that he's entering with his users. Now notice, this person is entering into a contract with his users by issuing these shares. It's not Mastercoin that is, Mastercoin is not a party to this contract. We're just a technical platform. So we achieve the same thing that these websites, these centralized websites try to achieve without centralization. And of course, the issuer, both the issuer and the investor has to do the proper regulatory checks. So I want to discuss decentralized applications a bit. So I don't know if you remember even our mission statement, and I'll repeat it soon. But what I describe right now is a lot of financial instruments, right? How to do all these different types of transactions, how to hold these assets, how to IPO. Where does that come into play in our mission? So let's see how we're doing, how we're just decentralizing ourselves. So about the specification, right? There is the white paper. The version 1.0 of this white paper was released by Willett. He also released a second version of it a month later. But he was always the source of truth regarding this white paper, right? He was the authority. Now, to remove this central point of failure, or this point of centralization, what we did as a first step is just upload the white paper to GitHub, which is an open source, it's a website that everybody can use to build open source projects. And the specification is over there, and everybody can send pull requests. Okay, they can send in suggestions on specific parts of the protocol, how to change or fix or add new features. That's open for everybody to send these kinds of requests. And right now, J.R. Willett is still the spec master. Okay, he's owner of the spec, and he goes over these pull requests, these suggestions, and approves or denies them. Of course, with community, consulting with the community. The next step, one of the features that we're planning is to have the spec changes voted on by the community. Okay, so we want not Willett, so not us, the foundation, to decide on how this protocol evolves, but we want all the community, all the holders of Mastercoins, to decide what Mastercoin is and how it evolves. So people who own Mastercoin will have a voting option in their clients, and they will see all sorts of requests to change the protocol, and then they can say, I approve this request, I deny it, I reject this request. And once we have a majority of Mastercoin holders, a pull request will get into the protocol and will become official. So we're removing ourselves, our decision-making process from the equation. Another point of centralization that we currently have is the funds, right? I mentioned that we raised quite a bit of money back in August. First, it was Willett himself that held these funds. now, as an intermediate step, is distributing these funds among members of the Mastercoin Foundation board, right? And then the board is deciding how the expenses are going to be made. And the next step, or the ultimate step, is to just give the funds to the community, right? There will be a pool of money in Bitcoins and Mastercoins that we don't manage. So the community can vote on how these funds are spent and used for the development and improvement of Mastercoins. So this can be in all various types of expenses, right? We have small expenses, like $100 to change something in the spec, or you have large expenses, like I don't know, the 300 Bitcoin contest that Willet is doing right now. So all these range of expenses can be decided on by a community vote. And the vote is not really democratic. We're not counting people here, but we're counting Mastercoin owners. And each owner has a proportional vote compared to how many Mastercoins they own. Okay, so before I talked about smart property and how someone can issue stocks for a centralized company, right? This Bob has the idea for Satoshi Labs. He registers, he checks the regulatory environment, he set up the server. It's a normal company, right? He can use Mastercoin to IPO if that is in accordance to the laws in his country. But as we've seen, Mastercoin is sort of decentralized company or decentralized application. The word company has some legal baggage, so it doesn't really fit here. But Mastercoin is sort of a decentralized protocol or application that can evolve itself. So we have Mastercoin tokens, right, that anybody can buy for the market price. Tokens are needed to use the app, right? Mastercoins are needed to use Mastercoin. Not necessarily all the features of Mastercoin. There might be some features that don't require Mastercoins, but for a lot of features, you will need to own Mastercoins in order to use the protocol. So tokens are needed for this app. Token increase in value if the app is useful. We had a certain amount of Mastercoins that were issued. There are about 600,000 Mastercoins, and there won't be any more. And Mastercoins are, by the way, divisible, just like Bitcoins. You can own 1 million of Mastercoin if you wanted to. But you have a set amount, a finite amount of tokens. So since there is a limited supply, and if the demand will increase, the value of the tokens will increase with it. So the more useful the application is, the higher its tokens are in value. And by following the procedures that I just described in the previous slide, owners of these tokens can vote. They can say how they want the application to behave. They can change the specification. They can allocate funds. They effectively manage this application, right? It's sort of analogous to a traditional company that has shareholders that can vote on certain decisions, but it is not a company, not in any known legal regulated sense of the word, right? It's something new. Just like Bitcoin doesn't really fall into any of the old criteria, right? Is it a currency? Is it a commodity? Nobody knows. Okay, so we understood that we are a decentralized application, and just like we're allowed anyone to issue stocks on their centralized application, we also allow people to create new applications on top of us, right? If you have an idea for a social network, right? You have Facebook, which is completely centralized. There is a company, Facebook Inc., and it has shareholders, and it's regulated by US law, and it has servers, right? There has been attempts to do a decentralized Facebook. There has been a company called Diaspora. They tried to do the same thing in an open source way. They failed, I think mostly because they didn't have the proper monetization model. But using Mastercoin, you can create something like that and just build in the monetization model into your application. So you will have these social tokens, right? You can issue these over whatever period of time you decide. And whoever owns these social tokens will be able to use your social network. And the shareholder, the people holding these social tokens, can choose how to spend the funds that you raise to develop the protocol. And basically, you can just do whatever we did with Mastercoin, you can do it for your applications. whatever you want. There are people already doing stuff about identity management and DNS and communication platforms, and I think that there is a new wave of autonomous or decentralized application that is coming, right? And our purpose is to be the infrastructure that allows this new plethora of applications to exist and to operate. So we have a lot of more Mastercoin features that we're thinking of and implementing. I won't get into all of them right now. We have betting features. You can just do a bet whether Bitcoin reaches $10,000 in 2014, right? And if you want this bet, you get some money, and if you don't get anything. And you can do options, you can do leveraging, all sorts of financial instruments. You can bet on sports game, right? For example, if you have a company that organizes sports game, they can broadcast into the blockchain the results of these sports games, right? Which team won and what was the result of the match. And then everybody can just bet on these results. You can bet on block hashes, just like Satoshi does. Satoshi does stuff in a completely decentralized manner. You can do prediction markets, which is an enhancement of this idea. Let's say I did a bet with someone, right? And well, it doesn't even matter what the bet is, but I bet on some event. Now, this bet is actually a financial asset, and I can offer this bet up for trade. And if I'm not happy with if I don't want to keep this bet, I can sell it for 50 Mastercoins, or whatever I want. So it's derivatives on top of derivatives. I know it's a bit complicated, but it's an ecosystem that evolved. We can copy trades, right? This is, I think there are a few people from eToro here today. This is something that we're inspired by eToro. eToro is a Forex company that I think their main feature is copy trades, right? If I recognize a good trader, right? I know that this guy is an excellent trader and he can predict where Bitcoin prices go, up or down. He has this crystal ball and he just knows how to do it. And I don't know it because I'm busy with Mastercoin, right? So I don't have the time to track Bitcoin now. So I'm just saying I can copy whatever trades he does in a decentralized manner. I can just send a command to the blockchain that tells the blockchain, whatever this guy does, I want my funds to act in the same way, right? And so I can just copy whatever thing he does, and if he's successful, then I'll make the profits as well. And portfolio diversification. My previous startup, I was working on it this summer, was called BitBlue, without an E. And BitBlue was trying to do an investment platform that allows anyone to diversify their holdings. Now, as we know today, there are a lot of different cryptocurrencies. We have Bitcoin, we have Litecoin, Namecoin, Mastercoin, Ripple. It's confusing. If you just believe in the idea of cryptocurrencies, of decentralized digital currency, and you want to invest in that idea, but you don't know which of the cryptocurrencies is the good bet, you can invest in a diversified asset. Like if you invest in the stock market, you don't pick one stock, right? You can invest in the S&P 500 or different indexes that automatically include the best stocks. So this kind of idea we can also implement in a decentralized way. I won't get into that now. So again, I repeat our mission statement. We want to accelerate innovation throughout the world by building a global value exchange platform in an open, decentralized, transparent way. So accelerate innovation. You saw some examples of how anyone in the world with any idea can come, raise money on top of this platform, and then it can be for a for-profit endeavor, right? He can try to make money of whatever idea he wants. He can raise money just for non-profit, right? You can do one of these decentralized applications with the goal of, for example, saving the environment. Right? You can do a Kickstarter on top of Mastercoin, and then just all the funds that are raised in this Kickstarter will be dedicated to some non-profit goal or another. You have all this. We're just enabling the platform. We're just building the platform that allows people to get money to fund their ideas, and we're not trying to judge or prioritize which ideas are the best. We're just building the platform. The means we're doing it is by this value exchange platform, and we're just building all the necessary features that are required to be efficient and competitive with the real world. And the last sentence, in an open, decentralized, and transparent way, I showed you how we're decentralizing ourselves. We're removing all power from the Mastercoin Foundations. It's a gradual process. It will take some time, maybe a year, maybe more. But rather sooner than later, I want the Mastercoin Foundation to just be an information aggregate, to be a point of contact, but to not have any control over the funds or the protocol. We're completely open. We're posting everything online. We have a Trello board that's out, and everybody can look at everything that we're doing, and they can pick tasks, and then they can suggest new ideas and new bounties. Everything is out there. So a small comparison of Mastercoin and Bitcoin. Okay, Mastercoin to Bitcoin is sort of like a Forex or Nasdaq to US dollars, right? It's a value exchange platform where Bitcoin is a currency. Mastercoin is like HTTP to TCP/IP, and I know that I lost everyone who's not a programmer, but the internet is built with a layer system, right? You have bottom layers and upper layers, and each layer just takes the bottom layers and adds new functionality. So we have the Bitcoin layer to provide security and the time synchronization. We have the Mastercoin layer for the applications and value exchange, and we don't know yet what kind of applications will be built on top of Mastercoin. But we want to enable everybody to do whatever they want. And we're cooperating with Bitcoin and competing with Bitcoin, right? We're cooperating, we're trying our best to move forward, but not to harm Bitcoin. And whenever there is a useful suggestion, a productive suggestion of how to implement or how to do our stuff in a way that is harmless to Bitcoin, we're the first one to adopt it. But of course, it's a competition also in a financial sense, right? Because you have Bitcoin holders, you have Mastercoin holders, and these are two different assets. So we naturally, our mission is also to increase the value of Mastercoin, right? We're doing the best we can for our users. So we want people to invest in Mastercoins, and usually it's either Bitcoin or Mastercoin or some mixture of the two. So it's a sort of friendly competition. We love what Bitcoin is doing. We're just trying to increase the usefulness. And this icon here, we're recently in the last month become a silver member of the Bitcoin Foundation. So we were paying them, we're sponsoring, we want to work with them to improve everything. All right, a bit about the status right now, just to sum up. The decentralized exchange is running, is operational right now, but only if you're a coder, right? Only if you know what you're doing and you know how to use Linux, and you can download the software and make sure not to make any mistakes. For Windows users, I don't know, even maybe for Mac users, I'm not a Mac user, but it's still a bit hard to use it. This is supposed to improve within 6 to 8 weeks. We set a high usability bar on the desktop clients that we want to achieve before we are awarding these 300 Bitcoins to the developers. The contracts for differences that I mentioned before, the spec for that, the specification is ready. This is already in the latest spec, where we haven't done any implementation of that yet because we're focused on the decentralized exchange. Vitalik Buterin from the Bitcoin magazine wrote that spec, I think, and he's working on more advanced versions of the spec that will allow generalized CFDs and scripting. I won't get into that. Smart property. Now, smart property and this type of issuing of tokens is a core Mastercoin features, and we want to put a lot of emphasis on that. So we recently recruited Tariq Lewis as the feature lead for this feature. He's also building his own company or his own idea, and will use Mastercoin for that. But his job is also to go out to the community, to reach all the developers out there, all the companies out there that want to use something like that, and to explain to them why Mastercoin is a useful platform for them. And he also managed the development of the feature. Regarding PR, we hired a PR company called Social Radius. We have some stuff cooking. We have a few explainer videos that are being worked on. We have some PR in major technical blogs and others that we're doing. Our main goal right now is to get a lot of attention, to get developers to come and look at all the different things we're doing and pick whatever tasks they want to work on. So I told you we had about, what was it, $600,000 at August. So now we have $8 million US. The value of Bitcoin increased, the value of Mastercoin increased, and this foundation, the Mastercoin Foundation, owns a certain amount of Mastercoins. And now we have a lot of money. And we're trying to use that money to develop the protocol as quickly as we can. So if you have a suggestion on how we can give you money in exchange for some achievement that you do.
Why? Why? Why you should give?
No, I mean, if there's someone with a concrete, detailed suggestion on something that they want to build on top of the Mastercoin ecosystem, to improve Mastercoin, to bring more value, you can approach us with a plan, and we can consider it, and we can sponsor you to do this, right, and to benefit everyone. And the market cap of Mastercoin is a third of that of Litecoin. Right? It's quite amazing. We're already past all the other currencies. Litecoin is still above us, and Ripple are also above us, and Bitcoin, of course. But we've already reached amazing state in just a few months. This is how you can get involved if you're interested. You can just watch or just read everything we have on Trello. We have lots of tickets there. Just pick whichever one you want, and you know, some of the tickets already have existing bounties on them, and some of them don't have yet a specific amount of money attached to them. But you can always come to a ticket and say, all right, yeah, I want this amount of money to work on that. Or you can see a certain bounty, but you can tell us, this is not enough for me, I want more, but this is how I'm going to deliver this feature. And just engage with us. We're open to discussion on everything. This is how you can get status updates on what's going on, right? We have a blog, we are posting weekly updates there on what's going on. And there are Facebook groups, and we're discussing building a forum. There are lots of channels going on. There's a Google Plus page. We have 5 international chapters. Okay, Israel is, I think, that the first chapter. There is Mastercoin Israel, and that is now forming. And we also have chapters in China, in UK, in New York, in Greece, and you know, there are a lot of people who are asking us all the time, how can I get involved? I'm not a coder, I'm not a business guy. What can I do? So if you have time, if you have free time and you want to have, this is an excellent way. You can just start your own chapter. I wrote today the wiki entry on how to do that, and it's completely loose, right? You can do whatever fits your description or your thinking of how to set up a chapter. We can advise on what we think is best, but you decide. And finally, you know, drop us a line, contact us, info@Mastercoin. We're always listening. Regarding Mastercoin Israel, and as I said, that this meeting is taking place as part of Mastercoin Israel. We're doing the founding meeting for this organization next week on Tuesday. We're doing it at the brand new Bitcoin embassy that we're opening. I don't know if I was supposed to say it on mic or not, but some people here are opening a Bitcoin embassy here in Tel Aviv, and it's just a place to conduct some meetings about Bitcoin and to just come and visit. So we're using that place to the founding meeting of Mastercoin Israel. Anybody who wants to get involved, just come to that meeting. These are the guys that are currently most active in Mastercoin Israel, and I want to thank every one of them, Yonatan Klinger for providing legal advice, and Sas and Ofer Rotem, and Anon, especially for organizing this meeting, because this exploded really quickly. We were supposed to be 10 people in this room, right, or in another room, and suddenly we're a lot more. And they did all the production, the webinar, and without you guys, this wouldn't have happened.